Now, first off, I would like to put a big disclaimer here. I am not an expert when it comes to the comics. I am more of a pulp guy. However, I was a big fan of the films, and we are not talking about comics. We are talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, as I understand it, is quite a bit different from the comics. So, with that out of the way, let's get into fixing this mess. Well, first off, we would put a heavy focus on the aftermath of the blip. Half the universe disappearing and reappearing in a couple of years would play merry havoc with everything, to put it lightly. The world would be in complete chaos, and the superheroes like Spider-Man and Hawkeye that are still around would be running constantly trying to keep order and keep the criminal organizations that would have risen to power by taking advantage of the chaos caused by said blip in check. Meanwhile, Thor would be busy ruling New Asgard and keeping his people safe, and helping the other heroes as best he could. Here's where you could show how he has matured and become the heir that Odin hoped he would be. He would also be looking for Loki in the hopes of reforming his brother into the person that he was at Infinity War, for rather obvious reasons. Doctor Strange would have his own film that would introduce the concept of the multiverse, and through it the Fantastic Four as well as the X-Men. Now, I know the idea of a multiverse gets a lot of shit, but done properly it can be awesome. But to do it right, you need talent, and that is something that is rather lacking at Marvel right now. And we would also reboot the Daredevil TV show. We would keep it the way it was at Netflix, and the way we would explain why he was not at the battle for the Infinity Gauntlet is because he just wouldn't have been that much help. Now, keep your shirt on, Daredevil fans. Think about it. His superpower is being a blind dude who can see, and has some pretty wicked kung fu skills. Great for fighting street cooks and gangsters, not so much Thanos or his army of monstrosities. But after the blip, he would be busy in Hell's Kitchen, doing Daredevil shit, beating up gangsters, and working his law office. You could have him meet and represent a few superheroes in his official capacity, perhaps. Around the same time, we could introduce She-Hulk, not the crap version that we saw in the MCU, the version from the comics that got turned into She-Hulk by getting into an accident and having the need for an immediate blood transfusion. Here's where Banner would make the tough choice and save her while cursing her with being She-Hulk. He would spend most of this film or TV show teaching her how to not just rage monster all the time. Wanda would be dealing with the loss of Vision and so many others after the battle for the Infinity Gauntlet. This would open the door for her being emotionally manipulated by Mephisto, and she would need Doctor Strange to come save her. Of course, Wakanda would have its own new film, and I'm going to piss off everyone and say that Black Panther is getting recast. He is not going to die, he will run Wakanda and try to help out internationally, like, say, helping Thor with the millions of Asgardians that he needs to feed, as well as dealing with meddling from criminal gangs trying to steal vibranium, foreign powers also trying to get vibranium, and slavers, because that particular practice is still alive and well in Africa. Captain Marvel would have us introduce the Skrulls as an actual threat. This would set up Secret Invasion as the next phase, and the Doctor Strange film would set up the phase after that. Recasting would play rather heavily into this. She-Hulk would be getting a younger, preferably more muscular, better talented actress. The same can be said of Captain Marvel and the X-Men. The X-Men would get a completely clean slate and start over. I wasn't impressed with most of the actors in the Fox X-Men, so yeah. I might keep some of the casting from the current Fantastic Four, as they actually look decent, but on the whole, most of them need a better actor that has more range than resting bitch face. Yes, I know that there has been a lot of superheroes that got introduced since Endgame that got left out of this video. No one wants or needs the Eternals, or Shang-Chi, or Miss Marvel. Some, like Moon Knight, might at some point in the future get a TV show, but a lot of them are a lot more interesting in concept than practice. This has been some of my ideas on how to fix the MCU. Tell me what you think down below. Tell me how you think it could be improved. I thank you for watching this long. This has been Pete, the Heretical Nerd, signing off.